and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Tuesday, October 10th, 2017. Read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk, and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Not making any recommendations, always for your further homework. Good morning, Sue here. Hope you had a great long weekend if you live in Canada. It was our Thanksgiving long weekend, and I had a really great time. Having said that, I did pick up a bit of a cold, so I apologize for my scratchy voice. Anyway, with that, let's get into today's video. If you're a regular viewer, then you know I always start these videos off with a look at the Russell Index. Why? Because I always want to make sure that before I add a new name to my watch list, I'm adding it in a rising market environment. And to keep it simple and these videos short, I use the Russell as my proxy, specifically the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000. And I step back to take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. If you've been watching these videos, then you know that we've been keeping an eye on this wedge pattern that's been shaping up on the Russell really since the beginning of the year. So as a reminder, this blue line is long-term support, the orange is medium, the purple is more short-term support, resistance, along with this diagonal black line. So you can see the candle for the month of September was a nice bullish looking candle that pushed us up and through this black diagonal line for the first time since the beginning of the year. This black line held price in all throughout the year, and now we are sitting right up in this area. So this black line will now offer support, and we'll be keeping an eye on it as the days go by. I'm going to move it away from the larger time frame to the 2-year weekly so you can better see what I'm talking about and how price has been behaving. That's the same blue line, orange line of medium support, purple line of short term, and you can see that we're up and over that black line and floating up in this area. So we'll offer this black line as our area of support now. I'm going to move it away from the weekly to the 6-month daily. We've had a little bit of softness in the market. I'm filming this at about 8:15 on Tuesday morning. The futures are slightly higher, so we'll see if this is consolidation and a move sideways before going higher, or if it's actually going to come in here and move below our 8-day EMA. I use this blue line, which is the 8-day EMA, as my guide. When price on the Russell is up and over the 8-day EMA, I'm adding new names to my watch list. So we'll be talking about a new name this morning. And the chart we're featuring this morning is Encana Corporation. It's a dual-listed Canadian company. It trades on the New York Stock Exchange in the US and the Toronto Exchange in Canada. We are looking at it on the US side, and it's actually not a new name for our watch list. We're reviewing Encana. It was put forward in July of this year. It had a nice run from there. I think it might be teeing up again here, so I wanted to bring it to your attention in this area again. Before I get into the chart though, let me tell you a little bit more about the company. Encana Corporation engages in the exploration, production, and marketing of natural gas, crude oil, and natural gas liquids. It's a big player in that space, and a particularly big one in Canada. You know what, Chart of the Day Cafe? I am all about value, and Encana has a nice high value score. Second thing I look for is growth, and Encana has a forecasted earnings growth rate going forward of 38%. That's a wow number. It's got a current PE of 17.97 and a small dividend yield of 0.53%. So with that, let's get back to the chart. We're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. You can see on the 2-year weekly, it's in an uptrend overall. I put it forward here. I'm going to get into that when we look at the daily, but it had a little bounce off our area of support, came in to retest, ran nicely from there. Seems to be consolidating to me and might be looking to run higher. We will see in the days ahead. But that's the 2-year. Let me pull it into the 6-month daily so you can better see. It was our featured Chart of the Day Cafe pick here on July, I think it was the 13th. Up and over the blue, which we use as our guide. We like the blue 8-day EMA. It had a nice run from there. It crossed below our blue 8-day EMA, came in to retest this area of support, and launched again for another nice run. I think it might be teeing up here again in the days ahead, so I'm flagging it for you. I think this might offer an area of support in here, so I'm going to put a little line. And I will be watching Encana in the next couple of days to see if we can get that nice lift back up and over our blue 8-day EMA and a resumption of the trend this way. It's all about the market staying strong. Of course, I have no vision into the future, but I like the look of this chart. I love those scores, and I will be looking for Encana to lift in this area. Along with our featured chart, we also like to take a look at the sector that it's in, and for that we're looking at XLE, which is the ETF for the energy sector. We're looking at the 2-year weekly chart. Just like Encana, you can see that it's in an uptrend for the most part, had a beautiful bounce in this area, came in to retest our line of support, dipped a little bit below, but is now trading above and looking perky in this area, showing strength. I also like to take a look at seasonality, and for that we go to equityclock.com. Great site, love this site. I'm not going to say that it's got seasonal strength at this time of year because it looks to be trading a little bit sideways. Its seasonal strength came in the first part of the year, and it traded a little bit sideways, but I still like the look of this chart, and I wanted to include this seasonal thing as well for you. No guarantee it happens again this year, but always worth noting. Also like to take a look at FinViz to see if I've got analyst support for my watch list pick. And as you can see, if I can get it into my screen, a lot of recent upgrades for Encana, September 28th, and you can take a look at FinViz yourself. It looks pretty positive. I also like to review articles and interviews for my watch list pick, and I will include this one with today's article, or today's video I should say. He's not an Encana owner, but he talks about if he were in the energy space, Encana would be one of the ones he would be looking at for sure for the quality of its properties and assets. So it's a Canadian interview. I will include it with today's video as well. And so to recap, we started today's video with a look at the Russell Index, and we note that the Russell is in an overall uptrend with price currently up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily chart. Having said that, yesterday was a little soft. We want to make sure that softness does not continue today, and that the IWM remains up and over that 8-day EMA. We looked at the sector that Encana's in using the ETF XLE for the energy sector. We note that it's in an uptrend on the 2-year chart and at an area of possible price strength continuation. Same thing with ECA. It's in an uptrend on the 2-year chart and at an area of possible price continuation. It's got a great value score. It's got an excellent growth score with a forecasted earnings growth rate of 38%. That's a really nice, healthy number. Has a small dividend yield of 0.53%. It does not have that 3 and 8 EMA cross that I look for as a trigger yet, so that's not checked. Seasonality, I'm not going to check it. We looked at the seasonal chart, not a period of seasonal strength. Having said that, I think the chart looks pretty good, so maybe it will buck that seasonal tendency this year. It's got analyst support. Current PE of 17.97, and it looks as though earnings are on November 2nd. As a reminder, these videos go out every Tuesday and Thursday morning prior to 9:30 a.m. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel by hitting the subscribe button on our YouTube homepage. That way you'll get the videos as soon as they are published. Many of these names do very well, and they're worth taking a look at for sure. I do my very best to screen for the best looking value and growth charts I can find out there every Tuesday, Thursday morning. Thanks for watching, and have a great next couple of days.